Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for watching. I have a very special guest for you today. I've been teasing you guys about this for a couple weeks. Here he is. Meet Mr. John Lapid, owner and builder of Brian's Eclipse, the green Eclipse in the first movie. Good to see you, John.
Hi, good to see you.
It's been a minute. How long has it been?
Maybe 20 years.
20 years. Yeah. Married, kids?
Married, kids. One kid.
One kid.
Daughter, yeah, 16 years old.
Do you let her go to import car shows?
No.
Good for you. See, good dad. We're getting older. We're getting older. So did you ever think the movie would get this big?
No. I had no feeling whatsoever.
You were there right from the start. I remember you showed up to a casting call with the car, right? Mm-hmm. So was it? Did RJ call you? Because I don't ever remember.
No, actually, we started at a auto show. You guys were there. Mama Konsoku was there. RJ was there, and the producers, or I guess you would call them recruiters for the movie.
David Martyr.
David Martyr.
Right.
He was there looking at cars, and then you guys pointed out. Yeah. You know, my car and
your car was silver at the time, right?
Silver,
okay.
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz silver.
No, the car started off as forest green, as I recall.
Forest green, yeah.
And then you had painted it silver. Mercedes silver, and the body kit was Robocar.
It had no body kit before, and then we switched over to the Robocar Blitz kit.
Robocar, so it was a Blitz ripoff. Okay, so that's where that came from.
Yeah.
Same, all the Blitz parts, Blitz, so it's a style front bumper, side and rear, yeah. And they're all blended and all that. PJ Bonifacio did the paint.
Yes.
The Mercedes silver. Did he do the green too, or did Universal do it? I don't know.
No, Universal did it.
I was like,
actually, you suggested to leave that color.
I did.
To have it more of a value. I opted not to. I think it would have been better if I said yes, because it probably might have turned out a little bit better green.
So wait a minute, go back.
Because it was supposed to be like a Lamborghini greenish color.
Yeah, right? Like that.
They didn't put a top coat on, so it was just plain like a dull green.
Kawasaki green is what they used. So, but there's multiple variants of Kawasaki green. So it would have been from '99 or 2000, which I think was 777 paint coat or whatever the hell it was. Yeah. But that was Universal's idea. Now, they had a conversation with you. This I remember, because I remember hearing about it in the hallway. They said, we're going to call John and tell him we want to paint the car a different color. We're not sure yet. And you said to them what?
Please, not green. Anything but green.
And so then the next time you saw the car, it was green.
Holy smokes, it's green.
Did I call you and tell you it was green?
No, I saw it at the shop.
Oh, over at the Picture Car Warehouse where Eddie Paul was running that program.
I was like, oh my God, they turned it green again.
They turned it green, but it was bright green, not forest green. Yeah. So then, what did you think about the graphics that we used on the car?
It was off and on for a little while, but it grew on me.
And you changed it soon after, right? You changed some things around. You put a bunch of stuff on the hood.
Yeah, that's because of my contracts with the
sponsors,
the sponsorships and stuff. Toyo Tires was already on there, so I didn't have to mess with that. Tanabe, I had to rip off the MID logo or whatever that logo
Modern
Image logo, and had to put that real estate back into Tanabe's.
Yeah, the hood was carbon fiber?
Carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber, yeah. But a lot of people think it was black.
No, carbon fiber.
It was carbon fiber. Was it a real carbon fiber hood? God, that's just vague recollections. Yeah, I don't even remember if the replicas had carbon fiber hoods. I think we just did carbon fiber decal, right?
Yeah, decal.
Yeah. So we cheated. And that's another way we cheat, right? Because it's good enough.
7 copies, 6 copies.
Right, it was craziness.
It's gonna run like $2,000-$3,000 worth of carbon fiber hoods.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even when we're getting sponsored parts.
Yeah.
So then we, the question I always wanted to ask out of my own curiosity, the hood vent at the top of the roof. I remember we had problems driving those things on set at any kind of speed because the wind coming through there. So what did you do when you were driving the car?
Put cardboard
tape in front of it. And what did you do about drainage for water?
Usually I didn't drive it in the rain. I kept it.
All these guys are running around with replicas.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how the hell they do it.
Well, some of them have sunroofs because they're running the GS instead of the RS. They had sunroofs, so they had to rip up the sunroof.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, nice try, guys.
It's cheaper to pay body shop people than go out to buy the right car. Because I have the VIN list, and I looked to see how much we were paying for the cars at the time. Right. They were still pretty pricey back then. They were still $10,000 or $11,000 back then. So they weren't cheap.
No.
So getting sunroof cars, they were all about the same price. They were plus or minus $1,000.
Yeah.
Which was a surprise to me because yours was the RS roll down windows.
Yes.
So that was another question I get.
Powys windows.
Yeah.
Not power windows, Powys.
Is that the Filipino accent?
Filipino
okay,
accent.
I've dated. Yeah. Those are my people right there. I ride bikes with these guys. Anyway, So you've got a couple people giving me flack like, oh man, why didn't he buy a GSX or a GST? So why don't you tell the story out of your own mouth?
Well, you know what? Back then, I was working, going to college. I had little or no money to work with, you know. My dad and my mom funded the money for the car, and slowly I paid it back, and I started fixing it up. Most of it is just monetary reasons, you know. I didn't have $16,000.
Yeah, because
versus $8,000 or $10,000.
I looked at the MSRP for a GSX for that period. It was about $15,000 and change. No, it's 23,000. Sorry, new.
Right,
And then
plus add tax and
license and registration in California and the People's Republic of California standing. Yeah,
it'll end up being like $26,000.
Right, and so the sticker price on an RS was about under 15,000, under 15 grand
12,
new.
Yeah.
So that was in '96, and you bought the car about '98.
Yeah, about 98.
About '98,
Yeah.
and then I started seeing you at car shows with it silver. Yeah. So there you go. So that extra $7,000 or $8,000 there could go right into the car.
Back into the car.
And PJ Bonifacio, the guy who painted your car, probably gave you a good deal because my understanding is that guy was working on the low end of cost for tuner guys. He just loved to do the work and wanted the recognition because you used to see his name everywhere.
Yeah.
And he actually did pretty good work, especially if you spent an extra few bucks to do the door jams and pull the glass.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good.
He actually did the paint job for the TRD wide body MR2.
Which one? RJ's
the
car?
The red with the white pinstriping.
Oh, the actual TRD car.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. So the guy was a talented guy.
Yeah.
So is he still around?
Oh yeah, he's still working.
Good. Still got PJ Bonifacio?
Oh yeah, he's still there, man.
That is
still on Valley Boulevard.
That's and what city is that?
It would be Azusa.
Azusa, which is up a little north from me. Yeah, but don't go calling this guy for body parts and techniques on how to blend your wide body kit. He's going to hang up on your ass.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't do that kind of stuff. So, all right. So that explains why you chose an RS and so forth. So then we get the car, we get it, we use it in the movie, get it all back. You get it. They had it about 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months.
No, they actually had it for about, I would say 3 months. Then it started raining. Then they extended it.
Trying to look at the dates because we did Race Wars in September of that year.
Right.
So that means principal photography carried over into October. I'm wondering if it's part of the reshoots. I got to look at the.
It started raining and they started to extend and extend and extend. Hey, we need your car for another month. We need your car for another
I hope
month.
they paid you.
Oh yeah.
Good. They also gave you money to recondition the car.
A little bit, not a lot.
What?
Yeah.
They're supposed to pay to paint it back.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
You should have talked to me.
Yeah. Again, one of my many mistakes.
What?
So, not talking to you, getting advice from you, other than,
Oh, the good thing about in that movie, David Martyr was a champion of the tuner cars, meaning that he was our ally, and he fought for us, for the guys who were renting the cars. He was very careful with the cars. The picture car guys, I was there every day, or almost every day. They were very cognizant of the hero cars, very careful about how they loaded the cars. Stunt cars, not so much, because you don't have to be.
Oh, yeah.
But for our cars, they was very careful.
I mean, the good thing about it was David said, if the movie's over, when the movie's over, you get to keep most of the parts.
Yeah.
Whatever they give us, we'll give back to you, whatever. And I was happy with that. I mean, I didn't need any more money from the rental of the car.
Yeah,
the sale of the car.
The sale of the car. So we'll get to that in a minute. So after the movie, we started doing car shows for Universal. We went to quite a few. We went to one down in Del Mar, as I recall.
Yep, Hot Import Night, I think.
Hot import fights, import show off, whatever. I don't remember. It was an excuse to be a car show. All our friends were there anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it was good times.
Yeah.
So we did a few of those. I traveled a little with Paul and so forth. You did a handful of shows, and then sometime around that, I remember calling you up, or I remember reaching out to you by email, maybe it was, and asking you to be at another show. And you said the car was in the process of being sold.
Yeah.
And so the person who bought the car was
Barris Industries.
George Barris Customs, who passed away a few years ago. George Barris, for those of you who don't know, was the guy who did the Batmobile back in the 1960s. Yep. So he got the car. You negotiated back and forth. You want to mention how much he paid for the car? Or?
Yeah, well, he wanted actually to lowball me, and I showed him the insurance papers. It was insured for $80,000, and he goes, that's too much. Let's start off with $30,000. I'm like, that's a little too small there. So I go, you know what? Let's quit haggling. Meet in the middle, $50,000. And we're done.
And we're done.
Yeah.
And the car went. And then, of course, for those people who don't know, you saw the car later on, what he had done to the car.
Yeah, oh yeah, through your pictures, actually.
Oh, really?
Oh.
So he started putting on, like, glue-on gauge housings, literally on random places on top of the dash, wire loom all over the place, second tachometer on top of the tachometer that's already in the car.
Nuts,
I mean, so I don't know what this guy was trying to do. So he created that company, Faster and More Furious something or other, and he was trying to sell parts and so forth. And
that I didn't hear about until like.
Oh God, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was really bad. But thankfully, that car went someplace else after that.
That's good.
So it's
museum. I heard.
Yes, it's in a museum. So he doesn't have it anymore. So it's gone. Thank God. I don't know whether or not they're going to restore the car, but I doubt it. Museums tend to sit on cars and then leave it for somebody else. Yeah. But we'll see. So the car was gone then. What did you buy to replace it, or did you move on with your life?
I just moved on with my life. I had, a taste of Hollywood. I was met my girlfriend at the time, concentrating on that, school, life. Eventually got married and then had a kid.
So life moves on.
Life.
So
life movement.
Do you remember the premiere, the Hollywood premiere?
Yes.
Okay, so you were up there. I posted pictures of that. Hopefully, I saw you have a whole bunch of pictures. We'll go through that here in a minute after the break. But when you went to the premiere, what was your thought of the movie? It was the first time you saw the movie with us and as pre-screen. Yeah, with the Alfred Hitchcock Theater.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the movie then?
I was like, okay, I hope this makes it. And because some of the stuff that they saw, they some of the stuff that they said and filmed were like kind of, okay, that's kind of weird. That's kind of strange.
Right.
Coming from a guy that knows cars, or coming from, I go, they should have done a little bit better on some of these things.
Danger to manifold.
Yeah.
Danger to manifold.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, oh, and the floor plate. I was like, oh.
We're going to talk about that right after we come back. So let's take a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Part 2 of the interview with John Lapid. For those of you who don't remember who John Lapid was from Part 1, we talked about John Lapid as the owner and builder of the original Eclipse from the original movie. He owned and built Brian's Eclipse before it became Brian's Eclipse. So we're back. So we were talking a little bit about, in the first part, your involvement, how they got your car and all that kind of thing. But I think we missed a few things. When we had the casting for the cars, there was a couple of different castings, right? So they had found your car at a show and seen it when it was silver, and then invited you to Universal's back lot.
Right.
And that was in a feature called The Making of Red Line that they wound up using. Video from that. Rob Cohen was there,
right.
Neil Moritz, Doug Claiborne, Paul Walker was there, Vin Diesel was there, all those. And they saw your car in what condition at that point? It was still silver, right?
It was still silver, yeah. Silver.
And so the Mercedes Silver that you had painted it after getting it painted over the dark forest green, the original color of the car. So car's Mercedes Silver, he's got the roll cage in there.
I put the roll cage in the second casting call, just right before the second casting call.
Okay, and that's the one that had the clear tube up in front by the rear view mirror for neon lights, for
neon lighting,
and the down bars as well, the down tubes as well. They had neon lights because this was a hot important nights days.
Yes,
and people were building cars for
big,
hot important
nights. Yeah.
So one of the questions I get, of course, is that the car had the 420A motor. It wasn't the Mitsubishi motor, because it was, the RS model of the Eclipse. So people were asking about the horsepower and all that kind of stuff. So that motor is rated about 140 horsepower.
140.
You had, the parts on the car, I know the spec list, but I'll let you go over it.
Headers, K&N air filter. That's pretty much most of it. Everything else was dressing.
Yeah, all dressing stuff.
All dressing.
So the nitrous system on the car, talk about that.
Nitrous system didn't work. Did not work, all for show.
So yeah, well,
for sure.
So the danger to manifold with a 3-stage nitrous system wasn't real. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, actually, that was a movie gimmick, is what they called it.
Yeah. So the first time you saw it with me. We were sitting in a theater doing a pre-release. It was still rough. They still had time marker type stamps in it and all that kind of stuff.
Different soundtracks. Yep.
Right. The Butterfly, Crazy Town one and all that. Yeah, I remember that. So we see it, and we're all looking at each other, shaking our heads, going, They're not using the right term here. Why? Because I have the actual list that I gave them, 3 pages of car terms that should be used.
Right.
They've mixed and matched them like sofa and couch. Motec system Motec system exhaust.
Right, yeah, that was one of the ones.
What? And we're laughing. Rob actually tapped me on the shoulder, says, "Why are you guys laughing?" I said, "Because some stuff in here needs to be fixed." Because I hope not, because we're done.
Oh. Yeah, ooh, that was crazy.
Anyway,
No, yeah.
but he reminded me that, most people who see this movie were not going to be car enthusiasts. And of course, that's not really the case. Here we are 20 years after nearly. And
Very
people
huge
still harp
following,
on that, and rightfully so. So it's very difficult to sit and watch it now because we know.
Every single time it's on. It's
We
like,
know,
oh.
before we were sitting in the theater, we might not have noticed it, but although we did, but you might not have noticed it. But once you learn something about cars, you watch it again, you're like, what? Danger to
Yes.
manifold?
Yeah.
Who the hell puts a 3-stage turbo kit on a naturally aspirated 140 horsepower stock block motor? Right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So,
pretty
but there
crazy.
was just the fantasy of it, I had seen it actually several times by the time it got to the theaters. I was there when they were doing the sounds. Like, do you remember the scene where Brian pulls up in the Eclipse for the first time, and then Dom shows up with the RX-7? All those girls walking around.
Yes.
I'm not taking her out tonight. I'm trying to get legit, trying to go with the Nitrous Circuit. Well, all those characters in the background, they didn't record them there. They put us in a room and has a microphone hanging from the ceiling,
Okay.
and then all these people walking around. We had lip readers there. And they were trying to read the lips of people, so I had to clarify what they were saying because they didn't understand car terms, right? And then we had to have the actors and actresses in the room repeat these terms as they're walking around the microphone. So I had seen many bits and pieces of the movie, but not all put together.
Right.
So the first time I saw it put together was with you. But after it was released, I was shocked at how big it was. What was your impression?
I was like, okay, with all the stuff that's going on right now and all the things that we have to deal with, the police, the cops, the sheriffs, with all the loud mufflers and stuff, I was like, this is gonna bomb. But after I saw it the first time, second time, I was like, okay, this is gonna get a little bit of traction.
Yeah.
Not as much, but I didn't expect it to be this much.
So do you miss your car now that it's gone?
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time.
Sometimes.
Would you have, knowing what you know now, would you have kept the car?
Yes.
You would have kept the car because it'd be
Yes.
worth more money now.
Yes.
That's the number
Most
one.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's worth the money.
Yeah.
So you were telling me earlier that you get a lot of people contacting you about building replicas of the car. What's
Oh,
your
yeah.
what's your advice to a person who wants to build a replica of the Eclipse as if there aren't enough floating around the world?
My advice is look hard, do your research, refer to your website. I forgot what it was. I don't-
FastandFuriousFacts.com.
There you go. Parts are hard to get now, especially with 1989 cars. Even with the Toyotas and the Supras, I mean their parts are rare,
Yeah.
extremely rare now.
For OE parts, let alone
Yeah.
aftermarket parts. Yeah. So I was telling you earlier that I've documented at least 100 Eclipse replicas, which is a big compliment to the production team at Universal for creating
Yeah,
the car
oh, yeah.
because they really did it. I mean, same thing with the Supra, really. So, I mean, people want to build these replicas, they got to know the parts are nearly impossible to
Oh, yeah.
find, nearly impossible to find.
And if it is, it's going to be like, there's going to be a lot of work to get them to fit, to look like it.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass. So I was going through some of the photos you shared. One of the things we did together that I enjoyed was the press junket.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
So after the movie, as the movie was getting ready to release, actually this was before, now that I think of it.
Before, yeah.
So they invited about 600 journalists from all over the world. There were
Yep.
TV stations, there were newspapers, there were magazines, lifestyle magazines, all that kind of stuff. They came out and they wanted to interview all the actors
Yes.
with the cars. RJ and I somehow got lumped in there with that group because we had worked on the cars, even though that we weren't actors. Well, he was, but I wasn't. I was the flagger guy. But some of these pictures are pretty amazing. This is taken at, I don't know if people can see that, but this was taken at Universal Studios backlot with Nick Stewart's Hector Civic and
Yep.
Scotty's Jetta, which of course became Jesse's Jetta. That's pretty cool. Here's another shot. We had all got our cars back from the movie. Most of us had started changing the cars to some extent. Keith Emoto's RX-7, which was originally gray, dark gray, was now bright red. And of course, there's your Eclipse in the background. Of course, Scotty's Jetta. which became Jesse's Jetta. My Supra. No, I've never even seen this picture. I never saw that picture. That was in the lot right across the street from in the same lot where the clock tower was.
Yes. Yeah.
Where they did Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
This is at the premiere. David Martyr, who was our boss on the film, standing with John.
Yep. Good times.
I think David still has that shirt. David, I love that guy. Keith Emoto, owner of the RX-7 and his squeeze. I think he married this girl, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think he married that girl. But I'm trying to get him. And then some general pictures of the premiere. Some of the people. This is gangster photo right here. All right. So in the front you got Scott Santra, who is the owner of the Eclipse. You got Bill Cole, owner of the Integra. You got Nick Stewart, who owned the greenish Civic that
Marlboro green, I believe. Kind of marblish.
Marbleized. Who the hell is that guy? I have no idea who that dude is. That was Nick's buddy.
Yeah.
There's you, of course, and then that's my buddy Aaron, who his arm wrote the shoe polish numbers on the cars as Paul Walker pulled in a racehorse.
Right, okay.
That was his big appearance.
Nice.
Somebody signing something
I think
here.
it's Vin.
Vin Diesel signing
Vin
to
Diesel.
Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what this was. Scotty. This episode I just did with Scotty last week, Scotty got the supercharger, the fake supercharger, the aluminum fake supercharger off the actual charger.
Okay.
And Vin Diesel signed it.
Yeah.
This is the picture of Vin Diesel signing it.
Yep.
That's my ex with you. There you go. I got two of those.
Mm-hmm.
Lee and John, I was really happy to be there. This is setup of the premiere. Hopefully people can see that. Setup of the premiere again with Keith's RX-7.
Mm-hmm.
Setup of the premiere with my Supra.
That took like forever to set up.
Oh, we were there all day, remember?
Yeah. Because they had to lift it and then jack it up. Then lift it, jack it up. Lift it, jack it up.
And there's another one. So that's some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Some amazing stuff. So I wanted to give you a copy of my book too.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
I don't know if you
Appreciate
have a
it.
copy of it, but you're mentioned in
No.
here quite liberally in a positive way.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So there's that.
Thank you.
So you still watching the movies? What do you think of the new movies?
After The Rock came in, I'm sorry.
What was your favorite movie of the franchise?
It's probably 1, 2, and...
I said favorite one. The goddamn Filipinos. You need to pick one
Well, of course, number 1.
because you were in it.
First
Yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah. But it was it's nostalgia too, part of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what really set it off.
Yes.
Without one, there would be nothing,
Nothing
else.
else, yes,
Right.
yeah. But second to that would probably be Tokyo Drift, because it was in Japan.
I agree. Even though it wasn't really filmed in Tokyo,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about all the Dodges in the movie now?
Well, I get they're trying to promote American cars, but
I feel like it strayed.
yeah.
So
was-
it's product placement. I get it. You know,
Yeah.
the Dodge wants to have a participation and to give them the cars, and it's cheaper
Right.
and all. I totally
Yeah.
get it. And there are a lot of people who love American cars and muscle
Mhm.
cars. Totally get it.
Yeah.
But for us, our biggest, I think, objection to the whole concept is that the movie started about tuner cars.
Yes.
It was street racing,
Yes.
and they've
And-
strayed so far from that now. There's barely any resemblance to the early movies,
Right.
and who knows what's going to happen in 9 and 10 because
Yeah.
they're making 9 and 10.
Oh no.
And then there's a whole spin-off where they're taking some of the characters,
Right.
and spinning them off Hobbs
Spinning
and
them
Shaw,
Right.
which I think is a good idea because I think that the Shaw character is phenomenal, Jason Statham,
Yeah.
and I like The Rock.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
It's good, but it got too Hollywoody for me.
It did. I was in the book. I talk about the how much they spent to make the movies, and then how much they made from the movies. But it's just different.
Yeah.
But what was unique about the first movie, and even to a small extent the second movie, is that Universal had done something that really had never been done before. What they did is rather than going out and buying the cars and just doing cosmetic stuff and pretending it had big engine
Right.
mods, they actually rented real
Yes.
modified cars,
yes.
and then tried to replicate it.
Yeah.
And I remember them telling me the story that we're going to make 4 or 5 or 6 copies of each one of these cars.
Mm-hmm.
I said, when do you start filming? Will you start filming in 3 weeks? I said, dude, you're not going to make it. He goes, oh no, we got a whole team for that. And I thought it was the most arrogant thing I had ever heard. And that was David Martin. And he was right. He was right, because I think they had 6 or 7 Eclipses. I got to look at my VIN list. 6 or 7 different
Eclipses. Yeah, I think 4 or 5 of yours, maybe 6.
They had a total of 8 cars that were that had super VIN numbers. 8. So, and I had forgotten, because I forgot about the junkyard car. I forgot about the Buck, the one that we had, on that little hydraulic rig that we were doing that thing with. So those cars, they were never, because they were never at the picture car warehouse. They were up in L.A.
The one with the truck and then
the
car,
McRig.
the McRig.
Yes, car, yeah.
McRig,
That car's still around.
Yeah.
It got reused in Too Fast.
Okay.
So a lot of the cars from Part 1 got reused in Too Fast, Too Furious. Got repainted. The 240 SXs were all repainted and reused. The Civics were all repainted, rebody kitted. We were talking about that with Scotty last week. So that's it, man. Unbelievable, huh?
It was a wild ride. I mean, I'm glad I got to experience it, But as for missing that car, couldn't drive it anywhere.
Why
it
not?
was my daily driver.
Why couldn't you drive it anywhere?
Oh, man. Dude, people would follow me everywhere on the freeway. Everybody just... I'm like,
oh, the boy
the
racer.
revving, the revving on me, or they'll blow by. I'm like, oh, great,
The ricer blow by.
Yeah.
When you're at a stoplight, the light turns green, you start to pull away, and the guy knows it's going to turn green, and he's already got a 60-mile head start on you.
Yeah.
We call that the ricer blow by. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, one time I had a sheriff's pull me over off the 101 freeway. When the 10 goes into the 101, that curve.
Yeah. Okay.
He pulls me over. He goes, I'm not pulling you over for the speeding ticket. I'm just wanted to take a picture of your car because I've heard about the movie.
Oh, this is when it was green.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just want to take a picture.
Yeah, I wanted to take a picture. So he made me duck down on the
steering wheel.
Not the steering wheel, but the divider of the freeway.
Oh
He
yeah,
goes,
the K rail. The K rail. Yeah.
Duck down so you don't get seen in the picture.
What the fuck? You could get killed standing there, but he got his picture.
He got his picture, yeah.
Yeah, that was. I tell that story to a lot of people about the responsibility of owning a movie car is not as glamorous as people think, because you're going to get bombarded. People calling you, wanting to come out to shows for free on the weekend.
Yes.
Like you've got nothing to do with your life but to pump up their show attendance by driving your car 80 miles and standing there for 8 hours so people could fondle and finger fuck your car. It wasn't happening, man. It wasn't happening.
Yeah. I couldn't even park it in the driveway. I had to put it in the trailer parking. Close the gates every night.
Yeah.
Well,
parking outdoors is great. That car would be,
yeah.
that car today, what do you think that car would be worth today?
Upwards to maybe 150.
I think you get more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
150?
Paul Walker touched it.
Yeah, but no proof. Other than him standing right
proof.
next to
We
it.
know that we have plenty of proof. There's more than enough proof for these movie car hounds.
Okay.
Yes. We've got the VIN number. We can verify the VIN number. Paul drove the hero car. There's no question about that. So, that car's got to be worth way more than. Good having you on. I'm going to take some look some more at some of these pictures. Maybe I'll scan a few and share it with viewers in the video.
Sounds good.
But thanks for coming on, and thanks for being a part of the adventure, man. It has been a hell of a ride.
Hell yeah.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're liking the videos I've been producing, please be sure to subscribe and share them with your friends. Thanks again, everybody. Talk to you next time.